Life is a learning journey, or at least I hope so. I'm glad you are willing to tell us when you change your mind about things. This is one of the reasons you are my go-to channel for my cat's nutrition. You are honest about ingredients, foods, and processes. Thank you so much, Nighthawk Predator. You've been commenting on my videos pretty much since the beginning. I really appreciate your support and your kind words. And it's true, I'm always learning. I've had cats my whole life, 13, including Jericho. And I've also worked with over 400 cats from 2017 to about 2020 when I was a cat sitter. And now I work professionally online with cats all around the world. And I'm still learning every single day. So thank you for recognizing that. Our education should never stop. We should always continue to learn. Even scientists and biologists that study nutrition and how the body works says that there's more that we don't know when it comes to human nutrition. And dogs and cats are always farther behind humans, and cats are also farther behind dogs. But it's my mission to help you get as much knowledge as possible about your cat's nutrition and share with you what I'm doing with Jericho, what I'm learning and what I'm changing and what I'm doing along the way, because your cat's well-being is my top priority. Hey friends, it's Jess Jericho. Thank you so much for all of your comments, all of your likes, shares, subscribes. I appreciate all of you. I want to continue making these videos so that I can answer some of the common questions that I get just all in one shot. Ryan said, I realized you never use a bowl. Is there a reason for it? And what is the blue thingy that Jericho uses to eat? So I don't use a bowl to feed Jericho because cats have nerve endings on the end of their whiskers, and they don't like it when their whiskers touch things. So things like very deep bowls, it is actually stressful and fatiguing for them to eat from this bowl because their whiskers are constantly touching the sides and they're constantly feeling that touch. They have nerve endings on the end of their whiskers because that helps them hunt. So when things are up, super close, when prey is up super close, it's difficult for them to see, so their whiskers help them kind of monitor where the prey is. Whiskers also help cats decide whether or not they can fit through something. So if their whiskers fit, they know that their body can fit. So they need to be able to feel on the end of their whiskers. If they put their whiskers up and they feel it on their whiskers, they know, okay, my whiskers don't fit, I'm not gonna fit. So ideally, you would feed your cat with a very, very flat or shallow plate. Jericho's thingy that I use is a food grade silicone mat. I like to use that because I spread out his food so that he's not just, wolfing it all down in one shot. He has a few different things to chew on and he likes to move around while he eats. And it's easy to clean, so that's what I use for Jericho. Francis says, is this a worthwhile thought? As 5-ounce cans of cat food approach $1 for Friskies, etc., and 75 cents for 9 lives, would one be better to buy cans of tuna, ham, chicken, or turkey and add a healthy filler? So cans of tuna, chicken, and turkey aren't enough for your cat because this is only muscle meat. You have to think about what the cat eats in the wild. Mice, small birds, they eat the entire prey, so this includes much more than just meat. It includes the skin, the blood, the bones, ligaments, cartilage, all of the secreting organs. So that means the brain, the eyes, the kidneys, the spleen, all of the glands. So from head to tail, they eat everything. So just offering meat alone and a filler, I'm not really sure what you mean by a filler, it's not going to provide all of the nutrients that your cat needs. Now, you mentioned these brands and the price going up. I'm honestly surprised that it's gone up that much because these brands are really, really low quality brands. And it would be much cheaper for you to just make your cat's food at home. Avoid buying canned food, even if it's just chicken. You are better off getting meat, bones, and organs at your local farm, farmer's market, or even the grocery store, whatever you have access to, your butcher, your local meat shop, whatever is easy for you to access, because meat, bones, and organs is what cats are designed to eat. Now you're going to spend more time putting together all of the food, but I personally think the time investment is worth it because you're feeding your cat appropriately, your cat's chewing on meaty bones, which is great for dental health. And actually I have a comment that I'll talk about that later. And you're saving a little bit of money because you kind of have more control over the price because You decide where you shop and you decide which ingredients to get. I have videos in the description that go way more in depth into these topics that we're talking about, so please check the description if you want to learn more about these topics. 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝅅 says, my cat doesn't respond to catnip. And this comment was on the video titled, try these if your cat doesn't like catnip. I don't know, did you watch the video? So in the video, I give Jericho 3 different powders, catnip, silvervine, and valerian root. And the video is exactly the answer to your comment. So if your cat doesn't like catnip, I'd suggest trying silvervine, because in a study, cats actually went for silvervine more than catnip, and then valerian root was the third option. Jericho, however, has a fresh catnip plant that he really likes. I just cut up some of the leaves and give them to him fresh, like once a week. Jericho also really likes to play with silvervine sticks, so this is the root of the plant, and I just tap them on the floor and slide, 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 and let go of it. He loves to chase them and loves to chew on them as well. Valerian root I would recommend as a last stop. It kind of smells like feet. If you have valerian root, comment below so people are not like, what do you mean it smells like feet? Voulez-vous says, my cats won't eat the healthier brands. I feel bad that I messed up their taste buds. So you are not alone. I get comments about my cat is picky, my cat doesn't like healthy food. Basically every day, comments, DMs, messages, all the time. So I have a cat food transition plan that's specifically formulated for picky cats. So whatever you're feeding now, I'll take you through step by step to get your cat eating wet food or raw food. You can always do a combination of both as well. Basically, even if your cat isn't picky, cats are very sensitive to food changes because their digestive system gets used to processing the same foods every day. And when you switch cold turkey, so to say, their system is like, whoa, what is this? We've never processed this before. We don't know what to do with it. It's kind of a shock to the system. Regardless of the quality of that new food, the digestive system is still going to be sensitive. So you have to take baby steps. Slowly, 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 and very gradually introduce new foods. And again, that transition plan will be in the description. HK says, was looking for new dry food for my kitten just to get some options and decided to look into why people don't like Nestle. I see Purina Go cat is on the list and realized I had brought him some about a month ago, but he hated it and only ate it when I mixed it into wet food. I thought he was being picky when actually he was being much smarter than me. Yeah, so there's kind of 2 sides to this story here. So one hand, your cat knows what he needs and knows what is in the food when he smells it, because the cat's nose is like 40 times stronger than ours. So you're right, your cat is being smart and telling you this isn't food and I need wet food. Wet food is more appropriate for cats. I mean, raw is ideal, but wet food is still better than dry because of its moisture content. So your cat does know what he needs. He knows that he needs high moisture foods and better quality ingredients as well. The other side of this story is that cats often develop an addiction to dry food because a lot of these manufacturers add flavor enhancers and palatants. They're called palatants, you can look it up. And they spray these things on the cat's food to make it more enticing for the cat to eat. And this happens a lot with dry food because it's mainly carbohydrates, mainly grains. Even grain-free food is high in carbohydrates, especially dry food. And the manufacturer knows, well, cats aren't grain and carb eaters by choice, so they have to spray these things on the food because it's also very low in meat-based protein. They spray these things on the food to make it more enticing and more palatable so the cat actually eats enough of it for it to actually be nutritious. The issue is cats get addicted to these things, and then they also get addicted to texture. So if you try to offer something new, they might be like, I want my junk food. Give me a polydactyl thumbs up if this is helpful so far. Some more cat parents that probably have the same questions as you can find this video. Thanks. RAEG says, can you do a review on Reveal wet cat food, please? This brand is by far my cat's favorite. A lot of you have asked me to review this food or asked me what my opinion is on this food. First of all, Reveal, at the time of recording, is not a complete food. So it's good that it has a small ingredients list, there's not a lot of fillers, etc., but it doesn't provide everything that your cat needs. I talked about this earlier in the video. Your cat needs more than just meat. he needs meat, bones, and organs, the entire prey. All of those bones and ligaments and skin and blood and secreting organs and glands, they complete the cat's diet. Additionally, cats eat from 5 to 7 different proteins in the wild. So it's not just variety in the meat, bones, and organs, it's also variety in the protein. That's what rounds out the diet. So a complementary food like this, called reveal, is like a treat. It's like a little food topper, something extra that you add to an already complete meal. So you'll check on the label if it says intermittent or supplemental feeding or complementary. That means that it is not complete and balanced. When you look on the label, you want to see complete and balanced, and then it will tell you for which life stage. Now, I think that reveal is fine if you're wanting to feed your cat better quality ingredients and you're using it as a topper, maybe to add more moisture to your dry food, get your cat a little more used to that wet food before you go all the way in with complete wet food. But as a standalone meal, if this is the only thing that you're feeding your cat, you're going to have nutritional deficiencies in the long run because cats need more than just meat. Mix says, "Hi Jess, and thanks for taking the time and effort to prepare this informative video." He says, "One of my former vets is a bona fide feline expert and taught me that cats, especially males, are all about moisture, and thus the requirement for wet food. However, she also cautioned that wet food can eventually lead to tooth decay. Therefore, she recommends a split of wet and high quality dry foods." So I'm glad that she recognizes and acknowledges that cats need a high moisture diet, as I already discussed. But it's kind of a contradiction then to recommend feeding dry food. So the issue here is that dry food doesn't clean cats' teeth. So that would be basically, in common sense terms, that would be like our dentist saying, "Nah, don't brush your teeth, just eat granola. It's crunchy, it'll scrape up off the plaque on your teeth." It doesn't work. Dry food is very high in carbohydrates. Cats lack the enzyme called amylase that breaks down carbohydrates. They don't produce it in their saliva like we do, so they can't break down carbs in their mouth. So carbs are bad for cats in general, but they're also bad for their mouth because if they can't break down carbs in their mouth, how can they break down a carb-rich food, and how can that be good for their teeth? The best dental care routine is to feed your cat a prey model raw diet, which would include raw meaty bones, whole raw meaty bones, and incorporating some whole prey as well. Because chewing on raw meaty bones takes a lot of effort, a lot of work. There's bones, ligaments, cartilage, as I already discussed. That actually does scrape the teeth and floss the teeth, basically. That's what cats use out in nature, right? They don't chew on cereal, they chew on whole prey. If that doesn't work for you, then you're gonna have to brush your cat's teeth. And if you brush your cat's teeth once a week, that's not going to do anything. You have to do it every single day because plaque can start forming on the teeth even hours after a professional dental cleaning. So if you're only doing it once a week, it's kind of not worth it because there's already plaque forming on the teeth. So you'll have to decide which you prefer, feeding an appropriate diet or brushing your cat's teeth. Fran says, "Can you talk about how to afford good quality food or how to make good quality food? I buy 𝐤𝐄𝐄 and stuff because I can afford it. The better brands are not in my budget, but I want my cat to be healthy." So Fran, I understand that price is a concern. However, try to think about the cost of your cat's food as an investment in your cat's health. For example, 𝐤𝐄𝐄 is probably one of the worst brands out there. I'm not saying this to scare you. This is the honest truth. It has BHA, BHT, these are preservatives that are known carcinogens, has a lot of those yellow and red and blue dyes. That's what gives the food the pretty color, but those are also known carcinogens. Has a lot of corn, a lot of rendered ingredients that we have no idea the quality of those ingredients. But I'm glad that you recognize that a homemade diet would be much better, and it is much cheaper because, as I mentioned before, you select the ingredients, where you buy those ingredients, so you have a little bit more control over what you're spending. And again, in the long term, your cat stands at a much healthier life, which means fewer vet bills, which also means less stress for you and your cat because you don't have to take your cat to the vet as often. It also means healthier litter box habits. It's much easier to clean up the litter box, and your cat's just gonna have more energy and less likely to be overweight. So it's all of these things put together. You have to think about the long-term benefits. And if you wanna make your cat's food at home, you can check out this video right over 𝐤𝐄𝐄. Thanks so much for watching. Surprised to see that the price has gone up that much. Beep, beep, beep. Regardless of the quality.